Johnny Youssef with the Connect Young Adults Ministry, and we have Shane and Shane. We're having a concert with them tonight we're really excited about, and we're having them here for a quick interview. How are you guys?
Good.
Good having you.
Glad to be here.
It's awesome to be here.
Is
Kansas
this
City.
How's the barbecue? You just tried Kansas City barbecue.
And delicious.
It's similar to Texas?
Yeah.
Nothing is better than Texas, huh?
I liked it a lot.
Okay,
It was good.
It was really good. Thank you.
It was very Kansas City-y.
Nice. Okay. And you guys have been here before. You've done worship with IHOP before?
We have.
Yeah? How was your experience with that? We haven't seen you for a while.
Well, that's not our fault.
Uh-oh.
So I guess our experience was great, but
our
I
experience
guess
was better than yours. Evidently.
yeah.
But we're bringing it back. You're here now.
We're finally back.
It's like a decade can heal a lot of things. A decade can heal a lot
Wow,
of
it's been a
things.
decade
And
already.
so I'm really glad that we've loved it every time we get to come out.
Awesome.
Up here, yeah.
Good. So you guys, how long have you been together?
Well,
15
we've been
years?
since 90. We met in '97, and we started singing together a little bit in '98, and then haven't stopped since. So I don't know what that math is, but
That's
couple years off in there, yeah.
Almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So have you guys ever, just for other worship leaders and musicians, have you guys ever wanted to quit?
Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And how did you deal with that? How come you're still going?
I actually have quit
He
multiple
did
times.
quit. He's quit a couple of times.
Yeah, I think that, everybody, it's hard to speak into that because everybody probably wants to quit for different reasons, Our reason is that, for the lack of a better term, there's actually a line in a song that, I wrote a long time ago, like, my serving him replaced my knowing him. And that, at the point that God would reveal that to me would be at the point where I'm like, what needs to go? And this is what I did to serve people as unto the Lord. And it was just like, I don't care about that compared to knowing him. It takes a lot for the Lord to confront me in that way. It's like, okay, you have my attention. God would be gracious enough to do whatever he needed to do to get my attention. And so typically it was in those moments, I would say a lot of people are in the boat of like, I was listening to the Laura Hackett sound check and I wanted to quit. I'm like, geez, I need to be done.
She's pretty good.
You know what I'm saying? And that would be sort of the wrong reason to quit, where it's like, are they gonna like me?
Yeah.
They don't like me as much as they like them. I'm quitting. I'm out. Like, in light of like knowing God, the approval of man should mean nothing. And so I would say to those kinds of things that we're tempted to be like, well, I'm not as good, so I'm just gonna quit.
Yeah.
I would say that would probably be the wrong motivation to quit. But if in fact, whatever it is getting in the way of you knowing him, let's lay it on the altar and let God do it. And those seasons would be like a season of laying it down and, having a break or downshifting. Since those times, we've downshifted probably like 80% as far as like how often we do what we do, and which has been fantastic.
And that doesn't in any way make you feel like you're losing something or you're doing it wrong? Like, how do you disconnect the crowd or how much you're doing versus like, just your identity in the Lord?
Why don't you go over that one?
I think we never want to be validated by what we do, or how many people come. The thing is, like, those things we want people to come. Like, if we're coming tonight, we would hate for like one person to come. That would feel weird, but we don't want to get validation. I think like even early on when we first started, we would do occasionally we would do like middle school camps, and you do a camp with middle school kids and they don't really respond the way that you want them to. But it's just like, man, we're here to proclaim the truth of God's word, and we do that through song and through what we say in between songs, and their response is really doesn't really dictate what we say or
That's
what
good.
we do, and that kind of flowing into like even what we do now, it's just like I feel like we really just want to be a herald for the goodness of God, you know, and how much or how little we do that. Really, we just want to be faithful to do it where we do go. But we feel a lot more called to local stuff now, and not being gone 250 days a year. And I think it's made the times that we do go out a lot better and richer.
Yeah.
You know, and now we're a part of a thing every week in Dallas called The Porch, and where we get to hang out with young adults, and I feel like it's been really good for us as a team, and it's been a transition from what we traditionally did.
Yeah, and actually, we're actually pouring into more of a national platform more than we ever have. Not to contradict E, it's just we do it at home.
Yeah.
So our main job is a website called the Worship Initiative, where we have a chance to disciple musicians and songwriters and worship leaders. And so that's what we do. And so that gives us the opportunity not to have to travel a lot. And so our lives are a lot more local, which is like, thank you, God. But our ministry has become, actually the arms of our ministry are kind of going out into places we've never seen him go, just in a discipleship role, which we feel strongly about.
And that was my next question. So why don't you tell us just a little bit about the Worship Initiative? Because you guys are doing something fantastic. I mean, how many albums did you guys release in the past year?
12.
12 albums in 1 year. So just tell us a little bit about that, and how can people be part of that, because it's just incredible what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you are a musician of any degree, we've created a resource, and some of these things have started out of like some chances we had. Like actually, I just saw one of our students that was in a songwriting class with us. Just some things that God's let us do. So if you're a musician or a worship pastor, worship leader, or songwriter, we just wanted to take all the things and all the resources and all the connections that God has given us and turn them around and pour them into people. And so, whether you play the drums or electric, or you sing or you lead or keys, or you don't play anything and you just use your vocals or your acoustic guitar or a banjo or whatever you play, just a place to come, a world to come called the Worship Initiative, where you can dive into intense training in your craft to get better at your craft. And you can dive into intense training in your calling. Of what you're called to be, who you're called to be in light of who God is. And then if you're a songwriter, you can get trained on writing songs. And so, it's just a really, really, really cool thing. There's a lot of little sub-points to all that.
Yeah.
But it's been a crazy, amazing last year and a half of our life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and you guys have some of the most popular songs in church history in those albums. So a lot of good songs, hymns, and songs from the 90s, and even modern songs. So it's fantastic. I listened to a few of them. And what's the website for that?
It's just a worshipinitiative.com.
Worshipinitiative.com. Mm-hmm. Okay, a couple of extra questions and a couple of quick questions, and then we're good to go. One question for you. What do you guys have on your playlist right now?
Laura Hackett.
Okay.
That's true. Because of my wife, but I enjoy it as well.
The new Bethel record I really like.
That's good. That's a good one.
What's it called?
Lots of Shane and Shane.
Shane, actually, yes.
Just mostly,
You wouldn't be surprised. We've been doing, when you do. Well, it's funny, but it's so true. Well, because when we released one more than every month.
Yeah,
and so every day at some point for like a couple of hours, we're like have to listen to it because we're like proofing it and changing it and doing all these things. And so really the last year has been a lot of listening to it. I'm like, geez.
That's awesome. All right, last question. One question is just when you guys are 100 years old, looking back, what would you like to see, like the mark you left, that you just want to look back and say, we were able to do this or partner with God to do this?
Man. Truthfully, that my kids and their families love Jesus. That's probably, what's the most consistent prayer that I have is that my family would love the Lord.
That's good.
I think if I was really truthful, I don't think it's that's probably my biggest prayer. So, for me, that's what I would like to see.
Yeah, I would actually say the same thing. You know, I want to see, you know, with our lives. It's like, you know, Paul on his deathbed. He wasn't 100, but he was old. He was pretty old. This is 35 years into ministry. 1 Timothy, last book that he wrote to the church. He said, write this down. This is trustworthy. Write it down. Christ Jesus came to die for sinners, of whom I'm the foremost. And God displayed his mercy in me so that he might put his patience on display for all that who would believe in him. And so I really, for some reason, that rings such a chord in me that I'm praying that my children, and for that matter, anyone else who's a part of our life, mainly my children, would see God's patience and mercy put on display in a way that they would come to know him.
That's good.
And so, yeah, my biggest prayer is for it was for my mom, my dad, my brother, and now it's for Lucy, Haven, and Ruby, and Shane's children, and the children that I see in our lives, that God would put his mercy and patience on display. And a lot of that's using the greatest sinner alive in me. And so, like, I know that my banner isn't going to be, he was amazing, man. He loved God so much. It's probably going to be, even though he didn't, God put his patience on us. God still loved him.
That's good.
And that's the banner I hope that people say about, you know, Shane Bernard is God is good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Last question is 20 seconds. What I'll do is I'll ask you guys. I'll give you two options, and without thinking, you just give me your answer. You can do them both at the same time.
All right.
Are you ready for this?
Yep.
All right. Country or pop?
Country.
Wow.
Country.
That's why you guys are a great team. Pop and country. Live performance or studio recording?
Studio.
Studio.
Church service or small group?
Small group.
We're not going to tell your pastor.
I don't know.
Both. Okay. Sloppy wet kiss or unforeseen kiss?
Ooh.
Sloppy wet.
Sloppy wet. Go with your ridge.
So why didn't you guys keep it that way for your song?
Oh, great question.
People don't know that.
People don't know that one.
People would think we changed it.
Yeah, they would have.
Okay, sounds good. Well, you guys are pretty good. Thank you. This was fun. That was it. Thank you guys. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited. Awesome.
I'm lifting up my shirt every time I leave.